And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Wednesday morning's line weather showing a good deal of VFR over the interior all the way up to the central western Arctic coast and Chukchi Sea. Some IFR there in the Bering Strait and some more here down along the southwest coast, mainly the Kuskokwim Delta down in toward Togiak Bay. Otherwise, marginal VFR, central eastern Aleutians up the Alaska Peninsula, becoming VFR west of Adak. VFR here, Bristol Bay into southern Cook Inlet. Marginal VFR starting out here for northern Cook Inlet up into the Mananuska-Susitna Valley, Copper River Basin, VFR. IFR here, eastern, or just about all the North Gulf Coast here from eastern Prince William Sound to about Yakutat, and then improving here down the Panhandle. And then for the afternoon, marginal VFR over the southern southeast coast, with a system farther to the south, but good VFR up to the north there, all the way over to Yakutat, and lingering IFR, Prince William Sound along the south coast of the Kenai Peninsula. But the eastern or western Kenai Peninsula, Cook Inlet, into the Kuskokwim Valley there, good VFR. Some marginal VFR east side of Kodiak, but good VFR all the way up until you get to the eastern Arctic coast. There could be some areas of marginal VFR there. IFR north central Bering Sea, and IFR here over the western Aleutians. With that next system, we'll see for Thursday morning kind of just disappears. So we're left with marginal VFR from Shimianatu all the way to just about Nikolsky. Otherwise, the Pribilof Islands VFR, Alaska Peninsula, Dillingham, Togiak, marginal VFR over much of the western interior. And some, this is about the only IFR zone here along the southwest coast. VFR, central eastern part of the state from the Gulf of Alaska up to the Arctic coast. And the Panhandle, mostly marginal VFR. And then for the Thursday afternoon time frame, we're looking at areas of marginal VFR over the southeast coast. Central eastern interior stays VFR down into the Gulf of Alaska, Kodiak Island included, as well as the Alaska Peninsula here, until you get out toward False Pass. Eastern Aleutians, marginal VFR. Adak and Atka, VFR. Pribilof's marginal. Some IFR here, Yukon Delta, inland a little bit, narrow strip there. So lower conditions here over the western interior. And for passes tomorrow, Brooks Range looking good, especially for Anatuvik and Adigan passes, both VFR. Lake Clark and Merrill, VFR. Windy, or rainy and windy, both VFR. And for Isabel, VFR, Mentasta, same forecast, VFR there. And Isabel, VFR. And for Portage, or Tanita, VFR. And Portage, marginal VFR with the lowest conditions here on the eastern approach. And for Chilkoot and White, VFR. Freezing level, 2,000 feet down over the Queen Charlotte, so that only leaves the surface here for the Aleutians, just south of Kodiak, south of the North Gulf Coast, and across Prince of Wales Island. Icing, nothing of any significance over mainland Alaska, as well as the Bering Sea. We've got some heavier stuff here approaching the western Aleutians, but staying to the south of the area there through the day. And then a better chance of some considerable moderate icing here moving into the southern southeast coast. And that associated with this south-southeast flow pulling that northward here around this low farther to the southwest, and some good southwest winds up to 105 knots there over the Yukon, much lighter over Alaska, and then some 90 to 100 knot winds here clipping Adak and Atka Islands. And at 9,000 feet, the stronger winds just south of the Aleutian chain here out to the west there, or over the western Aleutians just south of the area, and with a low up here kind of pulling back to the northwest near St. Lawrence Island, we've got increasing south and southwest winds, 45 to 50 knots for the western part of the state and the west coast, much lighter central eastern interior into the Gulf, and northeast winds here just off the southeast coast, but southeast up to 65 knots over toward Ketchikan and Stewart, and Misty Fjords in those areas. And then for 3,000 feet, that area there, looking at southeast 60 knot winds, turning east and then northeast at 45 knots off the coast. And then light winds over the eastern interior. Southwest becomes southerly, 35 to 40 knots over the western part of the state. And again, this band of strong winds associated with the front just south of the western Aleutians. Turbulence-wise, look for considerable moderate turbulence there from about Amchitka Island westward to Chimionat-2. Also here over the lower Yukon River Valley northward there into the Kobuk Valley, Selawik area with light to isolated moderate turbulence covering a good portion of the western interior here. But smooth central and eastern part of the state down into the Gulf of Alaska, Kodiak Island, and a lot bumpier, though, for the Panhandle with the southern southeast coast looking at considerable moderate turbulence as well as some moderate mechanical turbulence, Lynn Canal Glacier Bay.